Okay, so we have just seen the construction of the Koch snowflake curve, and we're ready to start analyzing the length and area of that curve. Before we do that, I just want to quickly point out here, we've been looking at a lot of examples. You're going to be computing your own or creating your own fractal, and so I just wanted to kind of show you these other ideas here. And in each of these, the pentagonal fractals that you see here, you're starting with a stage 0, which is a solid pentagon. Okay, and then you are moving to stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And you can see kind of what the iterative process is there. I just wanted to kind of give you some sense of some possibilities here. What we've looked at so far have all been fractals that we could draw in the plane, but I have a picture. This last fractal down here is a fractal that lives in 3 dimensions, and so this is called the Menger sponge. And it starts with a solid cube, and then in the next stage, I don't know if you can see here, right? What you can imagine doing is shrinking down that cube and taking 20 copies of it and putting them together as shown here. Okay, and so there's 8 copies on the bottom. Okay, so there's 8 copies on the top, and then 4 copies, 1 in each corner in the middle layer. Right, so here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 running around on the top. There's that exactly repeated on the bottom, and then there's these 4 on the corners in the middle layer, 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 are hidden. And so, okay, you can imagine then taking, those 20 copies of the stage 0. So this is stage 0. And over here we have stage 1 has those 20 copies. Another way you can think about building stage 1 is by drilling out from the top down, and then from the front to the back, and then from the left to right, the middle kind of square that you see there, just drilling all the way through. And that will get you the same thing. And then in the stage 2, what's happening is you can think about taking the stage 1, shrinking it down so that those cubes into like an object where the overall length of each of those sides is now 1/3. And so you're shrinking that down and taking 20 copies of that. Okay, and then I don't know if you can see it, 1 copy of the previous fractal is sitting right here in this corner, and so you actually have 20 copies of it repeated in the stage 2. Another way of thinking about this is that in each of these smaller cubes that you now have, we've drilled out the centers in those 3 directions. So if you continue this process in the same way that we've talked about, you end up with, in the limit, this Menger sponge fractal. And I actually have one of these in my office. Since I can't bring it in to show you, I'm just going to show you a picture here. And these are 2 of my research students from a few years ago, Robin Belton and Lila Greco. They are in grad school now in Montana, and then also in New York and Cornell. So we had fun building this out of business cards a few summers ago. And you can see kind of all the layers of complexity here. It almost took us a full summer to get all those business cards together. So now that was mostly, I wanted to give you some inspiration because your assignment at the end of this sequence of videos is going to be to develop your own fractal and do some analysis on it. So I wanted you to have a wide array